So it's lovely to welcome back to the show, Will Joseph Cook. How you doing?
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a minute since we've chatted. How you been?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, it's been about 4 years because I was working out the last time we actually caught up was at Victorious Festival in
Yeah,
2017. So Sweet Dream had just come out, and then yeah, it was all going lovely. And then he disappeared for a while, and you made us wait for the
yeah.
second album, didn't you?
Small small hiatus, and then yeah, back in the game.
But I think you used that time quite productively because you did some traveling, but you also started a record label, and then that's what your second album has been released on. And so you're being quite a busy boy just behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think I yeah, it was the time was kind of split in two, where it was like initially, I think because I'd started music so young, like there had been people that I'd worked with that from like the age of 14, 15, that were like, you're on this trajectory of like, we're going to get you putting out music, and like, this is your job now. And I think that because that is kind of like a weirdly early time to have a lot of direction, um, or just like a path laid out, that I think I kind of missed out on a bunch of stuff that my friends got to do, you know what I mean? Or just like general life experience. I think music was my everything, and that's not always a healthy place to be, because music is such like peaks and troughs, you know what I mean? And it's quite like a volatile thing to get your self-worth out of. So initially, yeah, it was just like a break to like, I begrudgingly kind of took this break to go and do other stuff, to be like, I guess I should step back for a bit. And then yeah, the year kind of prior to releasing this album, like end of 2018, 2019, was I went out to America to work with some friends that I'd kind of met over the internet, and made this album. And then yeah, it was just a process of like, okay, I've got this second record, and I had left my major label that I was on, and I was like, how I really don't want to dive back into like that world. So it just took a minute to kind of set up this creative infrastructure, I guess, and to have the kind of confidence to be like, okay, I'm ready to put this out and like do it properly, as opposed to just like releasing it and then not worrying. I wanted it to be like a vivid, proper release and like a proper label.
Yeah. Because of your age, it made sense to take that time out because obviously for music as well, a lot of it is about life experience. So you do need to have some to
Yeah,
kind of
totally.
obviously the main thing that's happening at the moment is Be Around Me kind of just blew up at the end of last year on TikTok, and we got the new version out. How would you find out that your tracks suddenly like going viral on TikTok? Who got like you just like scrolling through going, oh, that's me. Oh, that's me again. Like how does that happen?
Yeah, it was a strange experience. It was I was with my girlfriend, like at the time, I wasn't seeing most people, but I was kind of like sharing the experience with her.
Yeah.
Um, and we were both kind of agreeing, like I was just opening the app, and I'm like, it feels like I've like hacked a famous person's account, because it was like every time I refreshed it, I'd be like, why do I have like 100 new followers in like 10 minutes or some shit?
Yeah.
And it just, I mean, the app is built for viralness, I guess.
Yeah.
So like when it happens really quick, uh, and then once it's like, once it's up and running, and then it's a trending sound, it's like, everyone and their dog is using it. Literally everyone and their dog. Like there will be dogs that have used that sound. Um, but yeah, it's bizarre, and I think it was the first time that my music had left the realm of like my control. You know what I mean? I'm used to kind of understanding like where and what is happening with my music, in terms of like who's using it. Like if someone makes a YouTube video with my music, I will most likely probably see it at some point. Whereas this was like, oh, there's 1.1 million videos that have been made of this, so I will never see all of these. So that was bizarre, yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange time, and obviously, like because the new version of Be Around Me has come out from that because you've teamed up with Chloe Morendo from one of her videos, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was how I initially came across Chloe, and then a kind of string of other little coincidences and just like little serendipitous connections brought it together into like a very kind of easy collab to happen. You know, it felt very natural.
Because I know, because you said that obviously you've recorded the parts. You know, she's across halfway across the world. Like, how was that process of, hey, this is your own song that's kind of taken on its own life, really, like you said, out of your control, and you've got these people making their versions and doing things. And how easy was it to go, actually, yeah, this is really cool. She's got a really great voice. This actually could work. And then working across continents, how was that? How easy was that process, or was it being made easier because everything has gone online now in the last year or so?
Long story short, it was like super easy and super fun to do. Like it just felt very kind of stream of consciousness, very natural. Just like, yeah, let's do this, do this, do this. Yeah. And now here we have it.
Yeah, and it's a great collaboration. I mean, the song was amazing to start with, and it has just added that extra layer to it. So, where do you see yourself going with this now? With like Be Around Me, you're going to focus more on this, obviously, because where it's still in the moment, kind of capitalize on that, or you can try maybe move on again with the rest of the album.
I think it's a difficult one as to like how much you commit to like. I think whilst like the flame is burning bright with the track, and like there's so many people in the world that haven't heard Be Around Me that might love it. So for me personally, I'm always a little bit averse to like, oh, we're just going to keep like shouting about this thing, because I'm like, for me creatively it's happened, and it's I've moved on to making the next record or something.
Yeah.
But I think, a big lesson for me, and especially doing stuff independently, is like learning like how important it is to do promo, but not just to do it because you have to do it, but like to do it creatively, and to see it as like actually a huge part of like who you are as an artist, is like how you promote your music. It's only dry and boring or like music industry nonsense if that's what you do, if you see what I mean. Like there's no shortage of ways to like reinvigorate a track or like make it interesting to people. So yeah, I'm learning every step of the way, but I'm enjoying like seeing how far Be Around Me can go.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I loved it on the first time round, and then obviously this new version is great as well. The album is amazing, something to feel good about. I think there's a level of maturity from Sweet Dreamer in this record. Like I said, I think that's obviously where you've taken that time out to process and things. But yeah, it's great, and obviously Bad Hotel it's such a good idea, because it completely puts it in your control, and this is 100% you now, isn't it? There's no outside influences. It's just, this is you. This is your creative space, and I think it's working really well.
Yeah, I think it can be. I think in the past it was like a barrier for me. I didn't quite know. I think the constraints of a label can obviously mean that it's harder to just be like so front facing, and for it to be so personality driven.
Yeah.
But it would be wrong of me to say that was like the only thing getting in the way. I think I just needed to like work out like, I guess who I was and like what I was trying to say a bit more. And now that I'm a bit more comfortable in that, I feel like I can, be this front facing thing. And it's kind of just a confidence thing, I guess, in what you're doing. Whereas it wasn't quite there before, but now it feels really nice to be able to, do the podcast and collaborate with whoever in it, not be a 10 conversation long thing.
Yeah, I mean, confidence when I think I was like 19, 20, I don't think I'm still not very confident now, but especially back then. So when you're putting out albums and things, it's I can imagine.
Yeah, and it's like there's an added layer that even though I wasn't, and I'm still not like a massive artist with like endless amounts of eyes on me, I think just the very fact that you are kind of I think whenever you're developing with the idea that you're being watched like the whole time, I think that can be quite stunting as well, because you worry about everything you do, because you worry about how people will judge you for it. So I think I just needed to get over that a little bit and just remember that like it doesn't matter.
So obviously now we have a route out of lockdown. So do you have any plans like ready for this year, or is it still kind of waiting to see what things are going to start happening, you know, in terms of like gigs and festivals and things like that? Or have you got an idea of, yeah, cool, in August we'll be doing this X, Y, Z?
Well, I mean, there's there's a bit of a historical precedent at the moment for for these roadmaps not quite coming into fruition. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna continue how I have been moving through this whole like pandemic and through last year, which is like I stay pretty present and I stay just more like giving like all of my focus to like the immediate stuff that can be done like within limitations. So I think it's because it can just be demoralizing. I had one socially distanced gig booked just before the latest lockdown in November, and that was like me dipping my toe in. But even that, I was like, this is gonna get cancelled. I don't think this is gonna happen. And then lo and behold, the day before new lockdown, it did get cancelled. So I think more just to be fair to like my fans, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm doing this in August.
Yeah.
Like currently, I don't have a crystal ball. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea. But I am ready to jump when it goes.
Yeah.
The stuff's in place. I'm just
waiting.
I'm just scared.
Well, hopefully, come the summer, we will be out and things will be happening, because it would be great to see you live again. Because, like I said, the last time I actually saw you live was at Victoria. So, you know, it's 4 odd years ago now. It's been a while.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to just be like bopping and body rolling on a stage. You know, I miss that stuff, and I feel like I've even prior to the pandemic, like the last tour that I did at the end of 2019. That felt very like reinvigorated, and like I just really enjoyed being on stage a lot more. And I miss going to them as well. Like, man, I just want to be in like a crowd and like being all sweaty and fanboy over something.
What was the last gig you went to?
The last gig I went to, yes, it was. I remember it was a weird vibe. Like, I was like, should I even be going to this? Because it was just when they brought in the kind of like wash your hands and sing happy birthday thing.
Oh yeah.
But it was that worked, didn't it? It's good tactic. But it was, do you know the artist Jerk Curb?
No, not heard.
He's kind of like in a similar scene. Well, he is in the same scene as like King Cruel and like that South London quite cinematic alt indie movie music, I would call it. It was that, and then the week prior to that, I'd seen Caroline Polachek at Heaven, which was just so good. That was one of my favorite albums of the year previous.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get back to life as we sort of knew it later in this year. Hopefully that means we'll be able to see you again in person, because as much as I like doing these, I do like seeing people in person. I do miss it quite substantially.
Oh yeah, I'm over it. As nice as this is, I'm over it. You know, it'd be cool to end with a high five or something. That would be preferred.
Well, we can attempt one. Just Thank you so much, Will. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you soon. And be around with the new versions out now. So go check it out, because it is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, no, good to chat. I'm glad you're doing well.
Yeah, you too. Well, thank you very much, Will. We'll see you soon.
All right. Catch you later. Bye.
Bye.